Hey guys, Mark here at Twanger's Turntable. Just chiming in on one of the YouTube in the VC community. They have these little challenges, contests, whatever you want to refer to them as. This one is from, what's the gentleman's name? I don't know his name. It's TKR. His channel is TKR Special. No, it's not TKR Special. TKR VideoCentral. That's his channel over there. And I found his channel by way of Rachel's Ghosts, another channel I frequent here in the VC community. Great stuff, great content if you're into vinyl or just music in general, discussions like I am. I really enjoy it. So his challenge, as I understand it, is 10 titles that are relatively obscure, that very few will have in the vinyl community, music community, on YouTube or whatnot. Or they're just obscure, very rare. And I don't know if a couple of these qualify for that, but certainly for me, a relatively newbie in the vinyl community, I don't know, I haven't seen that many of them, and certainly there's a few here where I have seen none. So I know they definitely qualify. And I'm going to start off with the format of cassette. I have 5 cassettes, 1 compact disc, and the rest are vinyl. So with the first, I'll have to put on my glasses because, you know, the first one being cassette is The Flowers of Scotland. It's a folk, you know, by Peterson. And I don't know of anybody else that has this. At least it'd be very few and far between. It's on the cassette format. That's title number 1. Peterson, The Flowers of Scotland. You can, I would suggest, figure what the contents, the music would be on here, just by the title and the cover. The rest of these, well, at least the next 2 are bootlegs. One of them is from Guns N' Roses, on cassette as well. It's called Studio Outtakes, and I purchased these many years ago, probably 1991, 1990, somewhere in there. But yeah, they're bootlegs. I bought them at a local record store years ago, or at least where I was living at the time. But interestingly, it had a very early, this was before Use Your Illusion 1 or 2 was released officially, and it had November Rain on there, so a very raw version. Anyway, enough about that. Next one is also a Guns N' Roses bootleg called Reckless Life. It's also on the cassette format. What's on here? My Michelle, Reckless Life, Think About You, You're Crazy, Mama Kin, the Aerosmith cover, Heartbreak Hotel, obviously the Elvis cover, Shadow of Love, Paradise City, Night Train. I should have mentioned on the other one was also Shadows of Love, Reckless Life, Paradise City, Move to the City, November Rain, My Michelle, You're Crazy, Rocket Queen, Night Train, Out to Get Me. So those are, I would suggest, fairly obscure. I haven't seen those out there in the wild, or too often anyway. This one I think is definitely obscure because I got this at a live event. A band from Canada here. I don't know what became of them, but it was kind of a listening party concert for this release. It's called 6-Digit Fix on cassette, and I guess it's just self-titled. Yeah, they were a band out of Canada here. Well, even got a clipping in here. Essentially, that's the group there, and yes, they had a female singer, if I recall. Yeah, that's right. This is so long ago, 95, so yeah, approaching 30 years when I used to go to live shows, but it was a fairly intimate show. It was in a small location. This would have been out in Calgary at the time, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. 6-Digit Fix. I don't know where they were from. I think they were from down east, probably Toronto or something. Don't hold me to that because I don't know. Very similar to that, it would be one called Infectious, Jet Black. It's also on cassette. Sorry about the glare. Just using my smartphone. But yeah, very much of a GNR look with these guys of that era. Jet black. What year would have this been? 1991. So yeah, this is over 30 years ago as well. So pretty obscure. So that's it for the cassettes. Those are the 5 cassettes I have that I think qualify as per the criteria. But it's just for fun. I don't really care about the contest. I'm not looking for the prizes or anything. It's just fun and trying to maintain somewhat of a presence throughout the summer here, where I'm not doing that many videos myself. I still have family visiting, so don't have as much time as I normally do. This one I know for certain is ultra rare because they were never signed by a major label, and there's very few copies made available. But this is a band called Spectres, and the album was Up at a Dodge, and they were out of Edmonton, Alberta. And it's actually my nephew, who is a member of this band, contributed on guitar and that. So I would suggest that's a fairly obscure one. And it's on the compact disc format. Sorry, if that wasn't obvious. That's the Spectres, Up at a Dodge. So that's all I have for the compact disc format. But yeah, this one would have been 2015, I believe, when they made this one. You know, it's just like I say, never signed to a major record label or anything like that, but a special one to me, and quite obscure, I think, as well. And now I'll go on with a couple of vinyl I have here. Again, this is actually a Carl Peterson release. It's called Folk Songs. Like the first cassette I presented, it's also Carl Peterson. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that, but he's a family member, so that's why I have a couple of his releases. So, but not a close family member. We just actually, anyway. Next up, and these are also, this one for sure is a bootleg, and it's not in great condition, but I've had this forever. I was probably 15 when I got this, and it's a Black Sabbath with I think one of the first live recordings with Ronnie James Dio on vocal, and it's obviously a bootleg. I mean, look at the homemade label, and a take on the Rolling Stones. Their Satanic Majesty's Return, Black Sabbath. Does it say where this recorded? It was recorded absolutely live, August 12th, 1980, at the Civic Center in Providence, Rhode Island. Tony Iommi, guitar. Bill Ward, Bill Ward, bass. Terry Geezer Butler, drums. Think there's a problem there? Ronnie James Dio, vocal. But that's the way it's printed. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe Bill Ward was playing bass that night, and Geezer was trying his hand at the drums. I don't know, but I think that's an obscure one. But maybe I can just quickly pull the vinyl out here. It's nothing. I mean, there's no label on it. In fact, I wrote the digits on there by hand back in the day. Side 1, side 2. Yeah. And it doesn't sound very good at all, in my opinion. But it's suggests a fairly obscure release, and I don't think it's one that nobody has in their collection. And I'm not sure if that was a hard criteria. If I recall, one of the criteria was either no one or very few have, and so I would suggest very few have this one. Being a bootleg, there wouldn't have been a whole heck of a lot of them out there. And the other one is another Sabbath, and this one is Amorous Circle. Amorous Circle, whatever you want to pronounce it. Black Sabbath, yes, I'm a Black Sabbath fan of most versions of Sabbath, but specifically Ozzy and Dio for sure. And Ian Gillan, you know, criminally underrated album, I think, Born Again, but anyway, one of my favorites. But yeah, it's just this one I've had for the same amount of time, and it's you know, it's kind of beat up. Lots of parties, So yeah. And how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 10. This is the 10th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10. So that's it. I did have another one, but I'm gonna stick with the 10. And yeah, that was fun. I have a very modest collection, so yeah, it was difficult to even come up with those. And as you can see with these last two, the Sabbath ones, I'm kind of maybe grasping. Certainly with this one here, I would suggest there's a few of these out there. But that other bootleg, I don't think there's that many. And as I mentioned, I've had this since I was a young teenager. Oh, we even got my old address on there. I'll hide that. The old writing I had on the inside. Here at Twanger's Turntable, that is I, Mark Twanger MacDonald. And so for those that don't know, it's Twanger's Turntable because that was a given nickname to me many, many years ago. I was actually probably still riding my trike around the village of Muscush where I grew up. And that nickname was given upon me by, I believe it was Dean Arsenault and Pat Pern. I believe, I don't know, I was pretty young as I mentioned, but it stuck. And most that I grew up with know me as Mark Twanger. So thanks for stopping in here at Twanger's Turntable. That's my entry to the challenge of 10 obscure albums or releases that I have in my collection. And some of these I do believe that nobody else has, or very, very few has. And certainly this one, I don't know how many. You can probably count on my fingers and toes. Those, if you know somebody who has this, I would be very shocked. I know somebody who has it. Of course, as I mentioned, it's my nephew. So a lot of fun. Thanks everyone for checking me out. Go over to the other gentleman's YouTube channel there. Check him out. Yeah, TKR VideoCentral. That's his channel. Pull it up on my iPad there. TKR VideoCentral. And yeah, so it's a lot of fun. I like doing these things. I just have not had a lot of time lately to do them. He's got some really cool graphics and whatnot there too that I just do not have the ability at this juncture to do. Mine's pretty, you know, bare bones. Don't have a lot of special effects. Christ, I've got a 2009 Dell Tower computer that I've been using until recently, so you're not going to see a whole lot of special effects on my video, just what I can manage. Yeah, check him out. There he is. Great video. And yeah, don't care about the prize or all that stuff. Just fun to do. Cheers, everyone. Take care. I hope you're enjoying your day, wherever you may be, your day, your evening, your weekend, and whatnot. And I will see you next time with hopefully another episode of debuts in my collection. I still have one to go, but enough of that. Cheers.